Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome once again
There
to
we go.
the best episode of Big M's Power Hour to date. I'm Big M. This is my cohort, Cole of C. How you doing, Cole?
I'm doing all right after finally making it home. Oh boy.
Yep. That's a little bit of a hike for us.
Yeah, it certainly was. Hasn't been too long since we finally have gotten ourselves home, but glad to
Yeah,
be back. It was a great event, but happy to be home.
yeah. I feel exactly the same way. I'm really glad I went, but I'm really glad I'm back. I don't know about you, youngin, but I'm getting a little too old for full day travel.
Uh, I'll tell you what, the day after we got home, I'd have agreed with you. It's been another 24 hours since now.
Yeah, that's
W-
true.
We can hop back on the plane tomorrow and get going. It'll be fine.
Honestly, I feel like so for everyone at home, we had one flight that going down was a little bit later in the afternoon, um, and then coming back, we started our day at 2 a.m. So, um,
Yeah, that
in
was that
all
was a fun journey to LVO. It was
yeah,
great though.
in all honesty, I think I actually preferred the 2 a.m. Start
Mhm.
as opposed to the later start, just because I want to be over and done with.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. Having half the day to sit there and think about the travel, and then the other half being the travel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't as much fun as just okay, I'm up, let's go and get it over with.
Oh, I'm awake. Oh, I'm where I'm supposed to be now.
Right? Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I said, so we'll go through the news like normal. There's only three rumor engines this week or this month, and then we will touch base on LVO and kind of go over everything here. So, go over our individual events or our individual games, and then LVO as a whole. So, let's get started here. Let me transition us over to the news. Okay, start it up.
Oh,
Since let's see here, we reported up to the 7th, I believe, last time. Um, Again, we also don't have a lot of news to cover this month because I don't know if you know this or not, but Eldar and Tau are being released. I think Eldar might have come out. I don't know,
I don't know if Eldar book was actually released yet.
but dear God, you know what? I think we need a couple more articles. I think that's
Yeah. Tell us
maybe
about it more. It's
yeah,
all
maybe
right.
maybe something about Tau helmets and Eldar shoes, huh? Um,
Yeah.
so we'll go ahead and start off this the news roundup here with January 12th, where we talk about Fury of the Deep, the new Thrall Master. Well,
Yeah.
um, I don't remember what you said about this guy last month. Were you? How close were you?
I think I had an okay idea. I think you had to remind me his name is the Thrall Master. He'll do something with thralls. Because I thought he'd
Yes.
be more like a combat hero or something like that. And you're like, yeah, but he's probably also going to buff thralls. I'm like, oh yeah, it's in the name. So
All right. So you got
thank
it
you.
pretty spot on. What do you think of his rules? Is he going to be in your list?
I don't know if he'll be in my list. I think he'll be fighting for a spot in it, especially if I'm building a thrall heavy list, which as of right now with leaks and things, it seems like we are going to have minimum 20, maybe 30 thralls in lists, going to be my
Hmm.
assumption.
Okay.
Um, he's got two abilities that are really, I think, good. One you'll use all the time, another one will be more situational. The third one, you won't decide to pick it as much. So his ability that if you hit on a six, you score two hits, that if you have the chance to dictate the flow of battle, you'll pick that first. Second one, where it is -1 from wound rolls, that'll be your backup option if you're getting hit and you want to keep a unit alive. The final option is just reroll hit rolls of one, which if you have something else that is procking on a six, you'll pick this one. But unless something else happens with the book that we don't know, which obviously we don't have it yet, probably won't pick that one because I think I'd prefer to just, sure, if it's a six, we'll
Yeah.
just double up on it.
Unless you have two Thrall Masters.
Um, yeah, why the heck
Oh.
not? Why the heck
Oh.
not? I don't see myself trying to squeeze two of these guys in,
I mean,
But
come on, think about it. You're assuming that the tides are going to stay. We got round
that's true.
3
I am
coming up. You want to re-roll those ones to make sure that you're getting those 6s. And
sure. Why not?
all right, let's see here. So moving along onto my side of things, the
Yeah.
Flamekeeper, where in the unprecedented time of a giant swing and a miss.
Ah,
I was expecting, or I should at least say, hoping that it was going to be having some sort of interaction with the rune system. That's not it. They decided to give us another foot hero, but
with a
this
mohawk.
one benefits from your elite army dying.
Yeah. Sadly, I'd say if your strategy is to die, you're not winning a game of Warhammer.
I mean, the problem is like so we saw the points, and assuming that the points are going to be somewhat in that ballpark,
right.
we're not going to be in a great place for Fire Slayers. Like, even if there's rules that come in that, allegiance abilities that really just pump it up, those points are really going to be a hard hurdle to jump over. I mean, 170 points for 10 Volkite Berserkers that are, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a couple months back, these two books called Stormcast Eternals and
Oh,
Orc War Clans came out, and we sat here and went, "What are they doing with our points?
yeah, that's true.
Boy, are we silly."
Um,
So
yeah, I said,
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful GW may have an idea what they're doing. I have to agree with you though. Right now, Volkite Berserkers, they're not on the same level as other things that currently sit at the 170 point bracket.
yeah. Now, I will say, like I said, one thing that gives me a lot of concern, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, the army was known for its ward save, so they'll probably get an allegiance ability that gives it a ward save. I kind of doubt that because of Grimnir's
That-
Grit. That unit has a ward of 6+.
yeah, that is a concerning thing to see. A ward of 6 is not a ward of 4.
Yeah, I would be a little more hopeful or inspired if it said this unit adds +1 to its ward.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
But
yeah.
because I said everything else on the list is okay. Add
Right.
1 to damage is awesome. Immediately attempt to
Mhm.
charge is awesome. However, like I said, I mean, you're looking at, if you put it in a block of Volkite, okay, I guess if you bump it up to 30, but now you're looking at
Yeah,
a unit that costs what, 410 points? No, more than that.
yeah. No, 410.
410. Yeah,
410.
so you're looking
Yeah,
at 410 points for 30 models that can attack on a 1-inch base.
510. But yeah, never mind.
510.
Fix my math. Yeah,
510. I knew I was
even
missing a
better.
1 there.
Even better. Yeah,
So 510 points, a quarter of your army to hit on 1-inch reach. That at that point now, if you, and again, maybe it's okay at 20, but again, even still, you're losing 6 models. That's a hell of a lot. Especially if
yeah,
you think about Hearthguard, you're probably not going to put them in blocks of 15 anymore at the new price point. Um, you technically can. It would definitely make trying to keep cohesion a little bit fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I said, I mean, it's possible, it's doable. I don't think we're going to see it. But again, even still, if you're going to keep them at 10, you have to lose over half the unit. I don't necessarily know if I want to charge with a unit of 5 Hearthguard, especially with them only being a 5-up with no ward on the War Scroll.
Yeah,
Outside of.
possibly. Right.
Right, because again, like I said, at that point, you're basically going to have to charge and keep yourself within 9 inches of the hero. Or was it 12? Doesn't matter. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm, as you can tell, I'm not hopeful for this.
It'll be all right.
But so definitely expect a little bit of a scathing episode when
Review
this book
whenever
comes
that
out.
book comes out. There we go.
But so yeah, you'll be in charge of being positive and happy about your book, and I'm going to be me about my book.
Okay, I will try to keep a shiny attitude whenever I see the Steepkin book. I'll
All
just be
right.
happy there will be a book. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. What are we? Is this really it? Okay. So yeah. All right. So jumping to the LVO preview,
Oops.
which again, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really all that impressed. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. As a primarily Age of Sigmar player, like, eh, sure.
I mean, as far as that goes, like I said, it's been years with us getting the focus. So whenever it's
Um,
40k focus, we really can't say too much. But like, even as far as the
right.
40k stuff goes, like, how boring can you be? Like, okay, here's the Eldar stuff that, because again,
hmm
I don't know about you, the Eldar stuff is not impressing me very much.
I hate to say it, but I really do wish that some of the basic troop options had gotten a little bit more love than what they did. Outside of that, I'm happy with it for the most part,
Yeah,
honestly.
again, it's one of those things where it's like when you've been waiting multiple decades for
Yeah,
new
yeah,
models and they just kind of like go up to bat and bunt. It's like, yeah, they got onto base, but like,
yeah. No, I understand completely. Whenever there are Eldar sculpts probably the same age as me,
yeah,
yeah, we could have done a home run and convinced a lot of people they need to buy that army again.
yeah. I think really these Eldar sculpts are for diehard Eldar fans. I don't think it's for anyone
Right.
who I don't think it's going to draw people in like they did when they first came out.
You're probably right. The only place I think I could argue against you would be the Avatar.
Yes, so that is
That
one thing I
is
want to talk about.
that is yes, that is the WoW model for me out of the range they revealed to us.
Yeah, so I love the different options.
Mhm.
Um, I think we were talking about this a little bit before. Uh, what? So okay, so out of the three helmets, we have the helmet that we know and we're used to.
Right, that we all know and love.
Then we have the like Trojan style helmet, if you will.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
entirely certain where in history, but yeah, you're probably not wrong. Somewhere
I mean, it's not
it's
obviously,
Mediterranean, Greek, something
yeah,
like
somewhere
that.
in that
Yeah,
area. And then of
yeah.
course there's the bold decision of helmetless.
I'm a helmetless fan
Yeah,
personally. That's my vote.
me too. If I were to get this, I'm letting those locks fly. That's
Yeah,
what about weapon?
I'll be honest. The tried and true sword is the weakest option for me.
Okay,
Uh, the spear, I think, might be the coolest thing for me as far as I'm concerned.
I think I agree.
Oh, geez, we can't keep doing this.
Yeah, I mean, so our avatars look identical. Now,
Yes, we do.
with that being said, I don't feel like they're going to do this. I feel like it's um, I don't know, too much of an easy grand slam. With
Okay.
also the announcement of the upcoming Daughters of Kane book, I would love to see them share the model.
That's not happening.
I know.
I agree with you. It'd be really cool. But looking at this, there is way too much 40k Eldari being seen here in the iconography on the armor plates and such
Yeah.
for me to think it's going to go over.
Well, we'd also have to see if how much is actually sculpted in and how much is drawn on.
That's true.
All right. So moving along to our stuff here. So we got our announcement of the Night Hunt Daughters of Kane box set coming out. Um, I do believe I'm one of the only people that I've heard call a Daughters of Kane book coming out.
Yeah, I would also have not called such a thing. Um, I'll tell you what, though, I'm very happy to see the Night Haunt getting a new box set
Yeah.
coming out. They've
Yep.
needed something since their original release. And Ghosts with Crossbows. Why the hell
That's
not, man? It's
it, I don't know
cool.
why. Like, since they announced these, I've been wondering why it feels weird. I still don't know.
It's because look at every Death Army and find me something with a bow.
Well, I'm thinking more. I'm kind of thinking here. I'm wondering if it's just the sheer, um, they're floating, and like, so like when they
No.
shoot it, do they go back? Do they go backwards?
It's a crossbow. Maybe it pulls him forward. It'll be fine.
uh, and with the bookkeeper, we got to see what a night haunt looks like without their shroud.
Yeah.
So, Makey
Nightmare
haunt.
fuel is what it looks like.
Oh, he just needs a sandwich. That's all, and a haircut.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
red as rain after that.
Yeah. uh,
What do you think of the new foot hero for Daughters of Kane?
she looks awesome. The whip going around her is one of those things that you look in the mall and you're like, really? GW hasn't done something like this before? I mean, it looks like quintessential GW sculpting. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think my biggest issue with it is whenever you look at the full army, how many characters outside of the hag is sitting there just standing stationary, mouth shut, hand up, standing up straight, not ready to go anywhere, do anything.
I see what you're saying. This may, if that's what you're thinking of, this may be a frontline hero that's supposed to be having all the witch elves running about her and going to the front.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Um,
Instead of shouting orders from afar, as I feel like it's the normal for our daughters.
so, what do you think of the what do you think of the box itself?
Seems like an okay box. On the Night Haunt side, I am a little sad to see what are they? The Banshees, the
Oh yeah.
four. Um, Probably not something anybody really wants. Uh,
Well, they didn't sell them whenever they came out, so then they put them into Underworlds, and they didn't sell there, so they had to do something with them.
I know. Yeah, that's just one of those units. It's like you could have given them something else.
I think that's the
Um,
same thing with the Warlocks on the daughter side.
you're probably right. Is they're the two units that probably see the least play in both armies. I am curious slash concerned about those crossbows again. Only having 5 models there, so I'm wondering if they are going to only be a 5-man unit, or because I don't think that in box sets of this size they've been giving us understrength units.
Yeah, I definitely think it is a 5-man unit, and I think it's definitely
Yeah,
going to come as a box of five. Um,
probably.
but again, like I said, I mean that's kind of one of the things of Death is it's not really supposed to be a ranged unit or a ranged faction.
Right. Yeah.
So like I said, I think it's good to have a little bit rather than um, too much. I'd rather go too little than too much whenever it comes to that. So
Yeah, we can always dial points back to allow more archers onto the field if need be. Yeah.
yeah. And jumping ahead a little bit here, since we were just talking about the Eldar, what do you think about the reveal of the Corsair?
Oh, let me go back and grab that photo of her. The Corsair is really cool. I think that was one of the things that Eldar, like, if you wanted to add a new army or book to Eldar,
Mm-hmm.
I think just having the Pirate Eldar out there would be a fun faction for 40k.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
I said they already said they're going to be able to ally with basically any of the other Eldar, which I think is cool.
yeah, agreed.
So
Agreed.
like I said I'm interested to see where they go with it.
Yeah,
It's not vampires, but hey, not much else is.
but we got some pirates at least. They're in space, but pirates all the same.
And so, Mr. Korn, what did you think of the announcement of the new blood blood guy thread or hater.
This bloodthirster from the Horus Heresy. This model looks awesome. I really like a bloodthirster who has his feet planted and is gonna come and rip into you.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
mean, he looks really cool. They did say he is made of Forge World resin.
yeah, I heard that too. That was probably the most disappointing thing about it because that means I probably won't be getting him because he'll cost an arm and a leg, and whenever you get him, you got some work to put into him.
Yeah, he had a lot of work, and then you're also going to have to be super gentle about him the entire time you own him. I
Right.
boy, I really wish Forge World would just put away their resin and just bring out the plastic.
I
Because I
mean, there's better ways to do resin. There are other companies that do resin quite well
and cheaper.
and cheaper.
Well, again,
And
like I said,
GW, it won't get cheaper for GW.
no, no,
So,
absolutely not. Well, that's the thing.
however, I think we can do it better.
Yeah, I think so too as well. Now, uh, with that being said, like it's like if this were made out of GW plastic, we'd probably be looking at $140, $160 figure.
Yeah.
Looking at Forge World, we're probably looking at $260 to $300 for this thing. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna guess at least 250 for this guy. Yeah.
I mean, it's Forge World is definitely pushing themselves out of the market very quickly, um, and hopefully they right that ship. Um, but we'll see. We'll get back to that at the end of the news here. So we also got an announcement of Interrogator. Looks like a noir Warhammer Plus show.
Yeah.
They didn't really show much. It looks like it'll be cool.
Yeah.
Again, maybe if they get a couple more frames of animation per second in there, it might actually be truly an animated series. But we'll see.
There you go. Good.
Then they, of course, the last thing they announced was Necromunda Ash Waste, where they were like, "We're going outside." What
Yeah.
else do we know about it? That's about it.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting because definitely there's something that could be at least hidden or found and gathered out there in the ash waste. So it'll be a cool little add on
Yeah,
to Necromunda fans.
I still have not gotten into Necromunda. I don't know if there was like a small group going on. I wouldn't mind collecting something small, but I'm not going to go out of my way to start a group. I'll tell you that much.
Fair enough.
All right. Later that same day, we got an announcement, pretty big for serious players, Warhammer and the ITC. So that's the International Tournament Circuit, which is typically something that was done through Frontline Gaming, correct?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
since Frontline Gaming, well, not Frontline Gaming themselves, but I forget who it was, but one of the head honchos of Frontline joined GW. So I think we were all kind of expecting this.
I mean, if you're GW and you want to help to get the people who probably spend kind of silly amounts of money on an individual basis, I don't know if tournament folks spend the most, but probably as a per customer,
Mm-hmm.
they probably get the most out of those folks because we're all dumb and want to buy the latest, greatest thing to go to a tournament. So, yeah, no, I think this is a great idea. It helps with just creating a sense of unity and hey, we're all going to try and play by the same idea here because I'm sure anybody who's gone, especially a couple of years back, gone to just a tournament, depending on where you went, boy, who knows what it was you were going to be playing by the time you got there.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, I mean, it sounds like it's one of those things where it's more along the lines of it's just changing names as opposed to anything else. Considering the same people that ran it before are just going to keep running it, just now official. I just
Yeah.
hope GW doesn't get in the way. I guess.
I don't think they will. I've just the frontline gaming guys I don't think they'll allow GW to get in the way. I think the bigger thing was to just say, hey, if you want to come to one of our open events, which hopefully over time GW will expand.
And start announcing more than 3 months in advance.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but that's okay. But yeah, if they gave us a big enough time, hey, if you want to, you can go. It's not going to mess with your ITC track in a negative way if you decide to do one of these events instead of one of the official ITC.
It's very true.
So go, have fun, just play your games, which at the end of the day, that's all anybody really wants to do.
Yeah. All right, moving along here, we got our Age of Sigmar roadmap.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know that you and I basically just assumed that the IDK versus Fireslayer box set meant that IDK and Fireslayer Battle Tomes are coming out. Same
Right.
thing with the Night Hunt versus Daughters. But apparently that was a question for some people. But that question has been answered. So,
Yeah. I'm glad that they at least flat out told us.
right.
They kind of gave us at least a quarter ish that it might come out in. So that'll be great. And they kind of sort of gave us some hints as to, hey, there are two more after this, which,
Yeah.
good, awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, like that's all I want from them is just to let us know, like, quarterly, like, what's your plan? Even if you want to do half a year, 6 months, just let us know, like, oh, okay, now Fire Slayers are starting, so I know that I can start painting my Fire Slayers now.
Right. It's
You
time
know,
to get excited for them. Yeah.
right?
And honestly, they shouldn't be afraid to do this. And like, oh no, don't feel pigeonholed. Shit happens.
Right.
Okay, we've had the same thing with what was it, the Sylvaneth book back at the start of COVID,
Yeah.
where you let us know and then it didn't happen.
Right.
Just tell us, hey, something happened. It's not coming out. Okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I mean, it's like one of those things that just it drives um, it drives me up the wall whenever they don't do this because I go, well, I don't want to buy anything in case that whatever they announce next is something that I desperately need.
Right,
So,
right.
because again, I feel like they try and not announce things to not curb sales, but I know for me and probably for you as well, it's like, well, I don't want to buy anything in case they announce something I actually want.
Right. And the big thing for me was I was sitting here going, well, my Deepkin army, I'm not going to touch it for a while now.
Right.
And with the new book, maybe I'm looking at, okay, I need to update it then for when the new book comes out, which would be awesome. And got me excited about Deepkin, which I was already starting to wane on, sadly. So,
Um, well, and we'll get there, but I said I'm pretty sure we'll talk about Deep Ken here and
oh,
with
yeah,
you in a
we'll
little
get
bit here.
there.
But so I've been watching a lot of these videos about what are the new battle tomes, and I want to kind of do a little bit of a unique spin on it.
Okay.
So I want you to tell
Ooh.
me three different categories. What should it be? What do you want it to be? And what do you think it will actually be?
Ooh, okay. Where do we want to begin?
So let's go ahead and start off like what. So let's go chaos. What do you think it should be?
Well, Twitter won't agree with me after the 4-1 performance out at LVO. However, this should be Beasts of Chaos in my mind. I feel like they're the army that if you want to get people excited to go out and play again, that's the Chaos army hit.
Mm-hmm. Now, so I can absolutely see where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
but I was watching Warhammer Weekly from this week, and Vince said something that I absolutely agree with.
Okay.
He said that we are probably hitting the point in the production cycle that this time last year everything was shut down. So we're probably going to see a lull in new models. And I would
Yeah.
like to see a couple new Beast of Chaos kits. Because
Mm-hmm.
while it still looks really good, it does look a little dated.
I'm not going to argue with you. However, with the number of kits that army covers, I don't think I think they're lower on the totem pole than what Beasts of Chaos players would like,
Yeah.
sadly. But yeah.
So for me, what I'm going to do with that in mind
Yeah.
of no new kits or maybe a new hero or something, limited
Right.
releases,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give one that you're going to like, corn. I
I,
think
f-
it
I would
should be corn.
I don't disagree. I would like a corn book.
I think we need to get all four of the big main bads up and running, and then we can start spiraling out from there. And considering that there's only two corn players at LVO, I think that's telling.
Yeah, I agree.
So now let's go to what would you like this to be, and it's fine if you say corn.
I was gonna say corn. You took my thunder, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Uh, yeah, no. The shrine is still sitting right there. It needs to be corn. Uh, that will make the Deepkin get put in a box for a few months at the very least.
Yeah, like I said, I mean that's like I said, totally understandable. Like I know
Mhm.
it's kind of cold to corn is kind of like Matt to Duarden,
Yeah,
where
exactly.
it's like just do it the right way, and I have a home.
Right. I mean, they were my first AOS army, and I'm going to stay loyal to them for a long time.
Now, you probably know what I'm going to pick for this as well for the what I want it to be. Um, Again, just talking about Duarden, give me them oath breakers, man.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Um, I do. I think it's a 0% chance that it's Oathbreakers because again, like I said, we're not that far, or we're not at that point in the story, and um, it's a whole new line. So,
Right. Yeah, it would be a rebuild completely for a
right,
line. Yeah.
right. Like I said, we are not going to see any of those, any of the resin kits from Forge World for this. That's going to be brand new from top to bottom, and probably some big kits as well because if they abandon um, the train,
Mhm.
people are gonna be so pissed off they might as well just not release the army.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's round it off here. What do you think it actually will be?
Okay. So I've got two possibilities here. I'm only going to say the one.
Okay,
I think it will be Skaven.
okay.
Looking at this cover art and the talk of mischief down in the article itself,
Uh,
I think,
Now, as far as the cover art goes, this is
yeah.
generic cover art from the core rulebook.
Ah, okay.
So I think we
Okay.
can put that on the back burner. I think
Okay.
here and out, I
Well,
think the
then,
next time we get these, I think it's going to be
mhm.
the exact same covers.
Okay. That'd be good. I hope so, honestly. Because if they aren't, we're all going to sit there and look at each other like, wait, are they trying to tell us something? So, okay. That'd be great if this is just the generic art.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, with the comment of mischief, I think it's probably going to be Skaven. There's also a part of me that says, well, aren't pink horrors and blue horrors mischievous in the lore? So that's the other place I go. But I'm gonna
Okay.
put my hand down on Skaven.
I For me, I think I I don't know if that's a hint in there or if that's just them being fluffy, you know?
Could be somebody just writing that has no idea.
Right, exactly. So I personally think it's going to be an update to Slaves of Darkness.
Yeah, I can see that. We just got
Um,
Archeon rules
right,
updated. Let's, yeah,
right. I mean, that's exactly it. Like we just got Archeon rules, we just got Marathi rules. We're getting a new book, you know. So we're just getting, and of course, yes, yeah, we just got Kragnos rules, but it's a little different. Kragnos doesn't exactly belong to one army. You know, it's
right.
like we got new Nagash rules. Now we got Night Hunt coming out. We got new Marathi rules. Battles Daughters of Kane coming out. So it would make sense for them to try and get Archeon in place as well.
Agreed.
Okay, so let's move over to order. What do you think it should be?
What it should be in order is a difficult one for me. I think it should be cities just because I want to find out what we're going to do in the story with them next. One of the cities that you can play
Now,
is currently a crater.
now let me
So, like,
ask. Well, yeah. So
yeah,
one of them is a crater. The other one is has been taken over.
right. Yeah. So, can we
Now,
get,
do you
help
want
me
the
out?
new? Do you want Cities 3.0, or do you want, say, like the rumored Dawnbringer army?
Mm, I think I still want the cities army, even if
Interesting.
instead of it being cities, these are just, hate to say it, these are the dispossessed, the people who have been scattered from their homes because of all the bad shit that's been going on in the
Yeah.
story. And then we get our Dawnbreakers that come along and start gathering all these people later.
Interesting. Now, do you think it will be that, or you just think that's what we should get?
I think that's what we should get. I
Okay.
think if it were me in the writing room, that's what we'd be doing. It's not me, so it won't be what we're doing.
Yeah. Um, for me, I think what we need is Sylvaneth in its place.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I think there are so many people. Like, I think out of all of the armies that have had shit battle tomes for years, Sylvaneth is the one where it has like the most people still hanging on.
Yeah.
And I think it's time we need to get that book into a good place. Like I said, it's one of the ones that, again, as someone that works in the Warhammer store,
Yeah.
this is the one where people come in and they start looking, and this is the army that gets them to stop. Like, what is this?
Right. Yeah.
And then I go, those are Sylvaneth. They are a fun army. Maybe you should try them in Warcry.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. The truth there hurts a little bit,
uh,
but
because again,
I
like,
think
you
you're
don't want to tell anybody that an army's just flat bad, but like,
right. Yeah.
again, with that being said, there are people that have gotten achievements out of this army, but I said it would be nice to be able to have a book that's back in the fat middle to top fat middle.
Right.
Okay, what about want? What do you want it to be?
So I had to go and have a look real quick at the list of all the order armies
Mm-hmm.
because boy, did I just realize we kind of have a lot of them already fleshed out recently, which there's nothing wrong with.
Right.
Um, I think I want it to be an army that I've been thinking about playing forever, but I just never have done it. The Seraphon, just
Okay.
because I love the look of that army.
Okay. Okay. I see how it is. You aren't necessarily happy with your place, so you want to jump up top. Okay, I got
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't know.
it. I think for me, the want. Um, Again, going too far is the either the Grugnies Reclaimers or the combined Dispossessed KO book.
Fair
Um,
enough.
but I would like to see at least the updated KO, because
Okay.
again, like I said, that's even though again KO is not in a bad place right now. At least to people that can dedicate themselves to it,
Right.
but the the book is just it's so terribly written. Like, regardless of how good it is or how bad it is, it's just
Mhm.
written terribly. Like,
Yeah.
it's better than it was before. Because the first time around it was, hey, here's all these rules. Ignore all of them because you can't do them when you're in a boat, and if you get out of a boat, you lose.
Right.
They have gotten better at that. They have cleaned up the garrisoning rules, but it's still a lot of just, oh, you'd like to do that? Well, don't do it that way. Or, oh,
Mhm.
no, you don't can't do that. Uh, so we'll see. We'll see. And like I said, as far as that goes, like, one thing that'll never happen that I would really like to see is if KO and Fire Slayers swapped their allegiance abilities. So like Fire Slayers now have like their runes that they can burn to do certain things, as like the Urgle or Aether Gold, and then instead of that, give the rune system, turn it into like a, I don't know, an amendment system, and you could choose which amendment to the to the code you're going to implement each turn. That to me makes more narrative sense, but
Yeah.
it's not going to
Yeah.
happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be though?
So what I think it's gonna be is gonna piss a lot of people off. I think it'll be Lumineth Realm
Yeah.
Lords
Yep. Yep.
again for the third book in as many years, which will make people so happy. You know,
Is there any way to make Lumineth an approachable army?
in its current state, if you want to keep the feel similar, it is.
Oh no,
I don't think.
I'm talking about completely destroying the feel, sticking with the narrative, and making it so a new player can pick up the army, and B, you don't go shit if you see the army put down in front of you.
I I don't know if there's an easy way to keep the feel and still make it new player friendly. Especially right now, just in its current state. I know you said I can tear it down, but I don't know what I would rebuild it as. That I
Yeah.
don't need so much bookkeeping, I think, is the problem from a new player's perspective.
Yeah.
And I mean, even from an advanced player's perspective, if you forget something in the hero phase and you get partway through the shooting phase, you look down and go, oh crap,
And that could be
never
game.
mind.
That
Yeah.
could be game. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's again. I know that I rag on them a lot here, but like, they are just, in my opinion, it is the worst army in order, if not the game. Because again, like I said, I'm not saying competitively. I'm not saying
Right.
strength
Just
wise. I'm saying that there's nothing that feels good or has been well developed from a gameplay or a game theory aspect. Because again, it's either, oh, okay, you hid behind something, I'm still going to shoot you. Oh, you know what? I know you tried to position yourself in a way, but my guy can move 100 inches and around, and every time he pops in and out of you, he's going to do mortal wounds to you. To, oh, gee, I'd like to move my guys across the table, but I can't because there's an inch barrier in front of me, and all my guys have to stay base to base.
yeah.
It's like there's no point that you can just sit down and play with this army. Everything you have to be concentrating on everything, and you have to and your opponent has to be concentrating on everything the entire time as well. So
Right.
I don't
It's
think
definitely it's a gamer's army is the big way of looking
I,
at it.
again, like, to just be gruff about it. It's a dick's army.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Like I said, I mean,
Um,
it's the only way to win with the army is to literally take away that agency of your opponent.
yeah.
And like I said, that's not a good foundation for an army. I, I know they're not going to rewrite the book, but they probably should.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's an odd place.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, and honestly, I apologize for it, but at the same time, like, we did not see a lot of LVO or a lot of LRL at LVO.
No, and I think looking over the results, we did not see any break top 50
No, I think the
either.
first one was top 58.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll get into that here in a minute too. So let's just finish up the news with two quick articles here. So they just today they came out and said that they are adding the Underworld's fighters to Warcry.
Yeah. Very cool.
I think it's super neat. They're going to be called Bladeborn. There's a little bit of kind of mixed messaging they're giving here. So here's like a one paragraph here that says each Warhammer's Underworld fighter belongs to a faction and bears faction-specific rune marks to show which Warcry warband they can join. And then, like, later down, where was it? They said, oh, yeah. Don't want to use Bladeborn fighters as full members of your warband? You can take a Bladeborn leader as an ally instead. and they'll be able to bring along their buddies into the bargain. So I don't know enough about Warcry to know about allies, but it just seems
Yeah, I can't say I understand the allying
so
deal here either.
you can either take them or you can take them as allies.
Right.
I don't,
I don't either, but
but you can
hopefully,
take Duneclaw, so
I mean, that's a win all on its own. So
he's actually not too bad.
and I'm liking that strength 5. I think the rest of the Deepkin and Warcry are all sitting at like strength 3, maybe strength 4. So he's about the strongest boy in the entire army. I'm liking it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So one thing that I was looking through whenever I was reading this article, it does say, it does talk about, where is it here? Oh, the Tome of Champions 2021 goes up for pre-order soon. Do you think that means, I've been hearing a lot of people speculate about Warcry 2. To me, bringing out a Tome of Champions soon kind of squashes that rumor. What do you think?
I have to agree. I think this will just be one of those things they continue to keep living. Um, Maybe whenever we eventually move editions in Age of Sigmar again, that's whenever they'll do
Maybe.
this because that's what happened 40k wise. But
Okay.
I think with this Tome of Champions coming out, I expect this game to stay similar at least for a little while.
As they continue to barely even stoke the embers as it.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so moving along to the last thing, we're moving off of the Warhammer community site over to a blog that I check out frequently called Fayette 212. They had a little bit of a old world rumor that I didn't see anywhere else. Um, we'll see about this. So this is a website that I come to a lot, and a lot of their stuff turns out to be accurate. Um, so they're talking here. Let's see. So it's going to be orcs and goblins versus Empire for the starter box, and um, there's going to be no carryover models from the current lines.
Really?
I have no idea how they're going to do that. But yeah, it said everything will be so regarding the new starter box. Everything will be new sculpts. There will be zero carryover or reprints of old stuff. Old models can be used, but loadouts won't necessarily be the same. And then regarding Forge World resin, I've heard the rumor about resin for everything outside the big box for multiple sources. So I'd put my money on that being mostly accurate. So we're looking at least the starter box is going to be all new sculpts.
I can see that. I can see the starter box itself being all new sculpts, but I don't know. The idea that I couldn't grab an old box of skeletons or something for old
Right.
world, or go and grab the current uh, Age of Sigmar free cities like humans and make that work.
Huh?
That's
We'll
interesting.
we'll definitely see.
Yeah, it's a huge project they've been undertaking. Then if they've been doing this many sculpts,
Yeah, and that's one of the things I think is funny. It's like honestly with old world, while it's more of a curiosity than an interest. Because again, I don't even know if I'm going to get a old world army, especially considering that
right?
Dave, Neil, and Chuck all said they have zero interest, and I don't think you're very interested either. So,
I mean, I'm interested to see what they do from a model perspective.
right, right.
That's about it.
But like the other thing is, if it's Forge World resin, well, it's done. That's dead in the water.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no way that you're going to get people. So again, basically what you did was you came out with Age of Sigmar,
Mhm.
and then you took everyone that was upset about the loss of squares, and you told them to suck your dick. So
Okay.
now, what are you, 5, 6 years later, maybe even
Mhm.
7 by the time this comes out, and you're gonna go like, "Hey, buddy, you want to come back? Spend $1,000 on some resin, huh?"
Yeah. Now, I mean, a lot of the people who probably don't realize this is going to have to be Forge World Resident at this point that I've spoken to, that whenever the Age of Sigmar change happened and they just never decided to step over.
Right.
They've been very excited about this whole idea that they're going to get a rank and fight game again. I don't know if those people, once they realize if it is going to be a Forge World product that's in Forge World resin
Hmm.
at Forge World prices, I don't think they're going to be as excited anymore.
I
I have
I
to agree.
I wholly
Mm,
agree. Like I said, I from day one, I think this was a dumb idea. They should have left it in the hands of, say, Cubicle 7 with their role playing game. Um, just leave it there. And if you want to do an apocalypse sized game, just make movement trays that seat rounds and use Age of Sigmar models.
yeah, no, I think they may have put too many resources into rebuilding the old world here.
Yeah.
Um, been maybe different if they said, hey, you can use stuff that's currently out there, go find whatever you can, and given us a few plastic kits,
Yeah.
I think you could have convinced a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. If you could, well, again, that's the problem though. Is like GW's with them raising prices to raising them too high, too quick, at terrible timing, and they're not seemingly taking that foot off the gas.
And why would they? They just had one of their, well, they've had their best years as of late.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I mean, I think we're basically setting ourselves up in the same, as opposed to it just happening to Bretonians and Tomb Kings. I think we are looking at something like that happening to more.
Right.
I think we're going to see. Oh, what do you mean it's going to cost me $600-700 to start a new 40K army? Maybe I'll just stick with the one I have. You know,
Right.
um, especially if battle tomes and codexes are going to keep coming out. They're going to be just this oddity of where are you even going with it. We'll see though. We'll see. I don't want to be too
Yeah.
negative about it.
Good.
So let's move on here. Let's get our palate cleanser going here. So going all the way back to January 11th. Um, looks like
Some
two
sort of,
two hatches.
or where you chuck two energy cells in or something. This is something 40k in my mind.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this might just be a terrain piece.
Might be. I don't know.
Um,
It's either that or it's one of the chaos style vehicles that we saw in
that's
the
true.
video last month.
It's true. Or
It's
it
the
could
other
be
place.
that dark mechanicus that you keep going on about.
Hey now.
Regardless, it is not an Age of Sigmar thing, so I think we're safe to say that. I believe.
Right.
January 18th, a tire.
Yeah. A tire is a rarity in the 40k universe, as it turns out. I think the only place I see tires is in, oh geez, Gene Stealer Cult.
Oh, okay. Well, I know there's a couple. I know there was an Imperial Guard related vehicle that everyone wanted treads on it. So I think the
Oh, it comes with treads, the Imperial Guard vehicle you're thinking of, and people went out and bought a bunch of kits to
the other way
convert
around.
to wheeled vehicles. Yes,
Other way
yes,
around. Other way around.
yep,
Well, once
yep.
again, 40K thing. Okay, moving right along here to the last one we had, January 25th. It looks like a Dark Mechanicus.
Satellite dish of some
Yeah,
sort.
TV
Yeah,
antenna. That's
yeah. It's either that or it might be a Tau thing,
oh no
but
way. Now I don't know if you're looking at the
nah.
image.
I am now, and the more I keep looking at
The
it, I
little
wanted to say the base made me think that, but as I go
yeah,
up the antennas, the
the little
less.
part where there's like three little saucers almost.
Yeah,
That's the most Mechanicus thing I've seen. So
fair enough.
either Dark Mechanicus, and I've plucked this one from the ether, or we're
Yeah,
getting more Mechanicus.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants to hear. More Mechanicus.
Hell yeah, man. That's what we need.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
okay. Oh no. Looks
awesome.
like the. Did you transition over? You did not. Oh no. All right, everybody. I
Oh,
apologize about that. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
oh.
Okay. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so let's go back here real quick. Undo, close tab. Undo, close tab. Okay. So, double pipes thing. We think it's a 40K thing.
Oh no.
Here's a tire. We think it's a 40K thing. Antennas. We think it's a 40K thing. All
Yep.
right.
Oops. Mistakes were made. They've been fixed now.
Yes, all done now. Okay, so on to LVO. So, hold on, Zoe. Come here. Come here.
It's all good.
Come here.
She misses you. You're finally
Yep,
home
yep.
for an
So, yeah, so
extended
she
period of
loves
time.
these.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, so as we gave at the very beginning of the show, we kind of talked about our overall feelings of LVO. Let's kind of get into the specifics here. Let's start off with your game one.
All right. So my game one of LVO was against Russ playing his Beast, or not Beast of Chaos. I always want to say Beast of Chaos whenever what I mean is Ogre Maw tribes. Russ ended up entering the top eight.
Nice.
So that was, if I'm going to lose to somebody, P.S. I lost, obviously, since he entered the top eight. That's somebody I'd want to lose to. Russ was just an awesome dude to play against, had a great time. We actually had a very, very close game. I want to say all 5 rounds.
Good.
Turn 4, he got a wonderful charge off with his Stonehorn that ended up, I think, costing me the game. I think I could have done something better positioning wise to help prevent this, but at the end of the day, I was in control and ended up making a mistake. Russ capitalized on it perfectly and ended up taking me down by the end of it.
Good. Well, it stinks to start off with a win, but it does help us get to the lower tables. uh,
Not exactly where I wanted to spend my day. I wanted to at least get through day one and then have somebody slap me back down.
well, again, that's you gotta let the cream rise to its top. Let it go be a little jerk up there. You know, but
Jeez.
yeah, that's right. You heard me say it.
Uh
If you're good at Age
huh.
of Sigmar, if you're better than me, you're a jerk. That's what.
Jeez.
So my first opponent was his name was Aaron. He brought Maggot of Nurgle, which I was
Okay.
really glad to see because I was kind of nervous about this face-off. At just the sheer number of mortal wounds that it can theoretically put out. Um, Now, with that being said, I did lose this match, but it was definitely a combined effort between garbage dice rolls and garbage general decisions.
Understood.
um, so here, real quick, I took a screenshot of everyone's list, so I'll kind of run down mine a little bit
Oh,
quick
good.
here. So he had Great Unclean One, Rodigus, Sloppity, Scrivener, 2 20-man units of Plague Bearers, and another 10-man unit of Plague Bearers. So I was so nervous about Rodagus's just board wide mortal wounds
Hmm.
that he can do with his spell that I focused on him too much. So I got him down, I want to say either round 2 or round 3. I forget exactly which. Um, and after that is when I was like, hey, you know what I can kill in one turn? Sloppity and the Scrivener.
There you go.
So I literally took my long shots and I went half into one, half into the other, killed them both immediately. And I'm like, boy, that makes those plague bearers a lot more easier to handle.
Very quickly sit there and go, oh, I can do this.
Right. But unfortunately at that point he had heavily worn down one block of Vindictors, and other than that, like I said, it was just so many poor, terrible run rolls, poor charge rolls. It's like, I just need a 5. No, you're getting a 3. Okay, I'll re-roll it. Haha, there's a 2. Like,
Right.
so I couldn't really get to where I was trying to go. I failed every single one of my teleportation rolls. Um, ugh, which we'll get to my list. I think we'll talk about lists when we're done here. But
Okay.
um, again, Aaron was a great opponent, a great intro to LVO. Like I said, the only frustrating like these, I don't mind losing when it's a good opponent and it's a good match. It's a little
Yep.
frustrating whenever you think about it and go, well, duh. If I would have just thought for 2 seconds, I might have been able to win. Um, but again, that's not taking anything away from Aaron and his ability to pilot that army.
Right.
Um, so how about your round two?
So my round two, after my first round loss, I ended up playing against one half of Partners of War, Kathy, and her all dragons list. 10 dragons coming my way. Um, I gave that game hell, let me tell you. But by the end of it, come round five, I was tabled, and there were still four dragon. Or yeah, I ended up being tabled. There were still four dragons on the table, but I only lost by 3 points at the end of it. So
That's not bad. So
I'll take it as a personal win.
after fighting dragons,
Yeah.
because we're definitely gonna have a dragon talk here.
hmm
What is? Do you think they are beatable, or do you think they're just too bent to the point they're broke?
So obviously they're beatable because they didn't win LVO.
Right.
So I can't sit here and say they aren't beatable. That's because of the human aspect as part of it. I think the only reason I was anywhere near as close to doing as well as I did against her is because I think she made a couple of play errors throughout the game. So the way she had set up and shot with her dragons, her four-man of dragons didn't see combat round one,
Mm-hmm.
which was great for me because that's a lot of damage I got to avoid.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, like I said, I ended up being tabled by the end, so it didn't cause her too much of an issue, but it did allow me to focus on a pocket of the army and take it down before the rest of it showed up. By the time the rest of it showed up, though, it was too late. I'd already lost too many units dealing with half of the army
Yeah.
to have to turn around and deal with the other half, as well as taking points.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very reminiscent of my just basically of your description there of my fight against Nurgle, where it's just like sit there going, "Come on, man, where'd everyone go?"
Yep, yep. By the
uh,
time you're like, okay, I'm at the point I can do. Oh wait,
right.
nobody's still here.
Right.
Ah, crap.
Well, so my round two was against Bill, and he is actually an acquaintance of Strength Hammer. He's not a member of the Strength Hammer Underground. So,
That's
uh,
okay.
Bill, go ahead and comment below. Just say here, and then you'll be part of the Strength Hammer Underground. All right.
There you go.
So I felt a little bad for him because he brought Daughters of Kane, which is the list that I have the most experience fighting with this list. um,
Thanks, Chuck.
yeah, he's very happy that I played Chuck a million times. So he brought Marathi, he brought the Malusai Iron Scale, only one Hag Queen, which I was very interested to see. But then as far as the list goes, we got a 20 block of Witch Elves, 10 Blood Sisters, Kurenai, Bloodstalkers, and Doomfire Warlocks. So again, I've never worried about the Warlocks. People bringing them to just get an extra spell or an extra dispel or something, but like, no, I just go.
Nothing impressed you.
Yeah, my main goal is I try and get them to move them up or try and use them for something important or pin everything else down to try and get them to move around so I can just deal with them later. That's
Right.
um So I felt real bad for him. Like I said, because again, the bow snakes are really the only thing in that army that I'm really scared of.
Hmm.
And thankfully, my long strikes have a 30-inch reach where they have a 24-inch reach. So I'm able to reposition using Bastion, and also, if that's still not enough, I can use my Lord Relictor to get them where they need to be. And if I can go first, then yeah,
You have a target. Yeah.
right, right. So that was kind of what happened here. I took her down. I took him down to one bow snake left, which again, I'm not worried about one bow snake. Uh, and then through the rest of the game was basically just whittling. Um, there was, I mean, he really knew how to pilot this army, and he really knew the mission. I really had to finagle to get my first win through here. Um, it was a lot of, it was probably, I don't think I've ever seen an objective switch control as much as we did on
Oh,
this one.
good. Good.
Um, and then again, like I said, I was constantly whittling away at Marathi, whether it was trying to get a long strike shot in or trying to use Bastion's lightning ability. But I felt a little bad, but not that bad. Not bad enough to not laugh. I got, I managed to get Marathi down to 3 wounds left. For some reason, he charged my chariot with little Marathi. Tried to cast a spell. Rolled double ones. Rolled the 3 to do mortal wounds to herself. Saved one of them, so she's at 1 wound left. Then decides to use Big Marathi's command ability to shoot in the hero phase to shoot my chariot, killing my chariot, blowing up and killing little Marathi.
That's a story right there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was like, now that's a TV show. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the shoot and then no, you fool.
Da, 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 da. Beautiful.
Yeah. So again, it was good to get my first victory in. I was, after losing the first time on, I was like, oh, this is gonna be how this tournament's gonna go. I just know it. Um, so yeah, so to get that victory in, like I said, I felt bad, but a win is a win. So how about your turn 3? Oh,
Well,
also,
my game 3, but
my turn 2 was on table 69.
there you go. Very nice. Yeah. So my game 3 was against Brittany and her Soulblight Grave Lords. This focused pretty heavily around the dogs being our battle line here, as well, of course, a Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. Uh, Full cast of heroes to help out, keeping everything going. Terrain ended up being a big help to me here. I had won the roll off, chose to be attacker, so Brittany set up the terrain. We ended up having 2 large line of sight blocking pieces kind of center table. They also were impassable, so no one was going to do any sort of movement shenanigans around them. Kind of split the board in half. So I skewed the army to one side. Excuse me. Took out one half of her army. And then on turn 3, I was able to pivot and go and finally fight the other half as the objective. I can't remember the name of the mission, but it's the one where we slowly move to the center of the table.
The Vice.
So, yes, the Vice. So I was able to take one half of the table, pivot, and then go and fight the other half.
All right. And then you did end up winning that one?
Yes, that was my first win of LVO, which sadly came a little bit later than what I wanted, but it is what it is.
It was good to end your day on a high note.
There we go. That was the best way of looking at it.
So I fought Nate Trentinelli. So
Also made top 8.
Yep, also made top 8. It was simultaneously good and bad to see such a handsome face across the board.
Fair enough.
As I said, him and his brother are they're a tag team, man. They are. I remember they were at. I forget if they were at NashCon. Probably they were.
Yeah, they were.
But
They were
I know
there.
at ACO they were just. Couldn't stop either one of them.
That was my one loss at ACO was to Anthony. So yeah.
Well, yeah, so he brought the Nagash list that a lot of people have been talking about, where it's literally just Nagash, Spirit Torment, 10 block or 10 man blocks of Chain Rasps, 5 Hex Race, and a twice reinforced Spirit Host.
Yeah, as it turns out, that thing was hard to take down, wasn't it?
That thing could not be taken down.
Gotcha.
I was able to take out Chain Rasps left and right, no problem. Basically if they were around, and then once again, friggin' teleport, man. All I need is 2, and it's just not there. So again, so far at this point, I've only been able to teleport twice, and I will not teleport another day on this, another time on this day. So,
Yeah. What was it? Twice out of 12 rolls on the day, I think is what you said. Yeah.
Twice
Okay.
out of 12 times, it just
Yeah, that's not
and
how
that's
odds work.
too
You need to
successful.
stop that. Yeah,
Again, we'll get to that in a minute.
it's okay.
So I was actually doing very well. I had Nagash down to 2 wounds remaining.
It's awesome.
So I had him down to 2 wounds. I want to say it was like between 6 and 8 Vindictors left. I had my Castellan and I had Bastion all going into Nagash this round. And so I felt all I needed to do was teleport over my 6 long strikes, and that should be enough to button it away. Well, end of the day, 1 comes around, and then he saves everything.
You know what?
Everything.
Sometimes you just get it, you know?
Then, of course, his turn comes around. He hands in gas, or he's been doing the hand of ash or dust or whatever the heck it is.
Dust, yeah.
Yeah, the hand of dust. Just every turn, and I was doing really well with that. I was like, oh, that one got it. Oh, that one got it. Oh, that one got it. And then, of course, the one time I screw it up, he picks Bastion.
Mm.
So
Probably
Bastion,
the most efficient way to get rid of Bastion in the
oh,
game.
jeez, oh man. I was like, why couldn't you be got wreck? Then I just take a wound.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he ended up winning that one. It was a rough loss. Just because it was just a struggle the entire time. I put everything I had into that, and once I survived being at 2, the next turn he was back up to like nothing, like nothing had happened, and knowing that like at that point I had put everything my army had into him, he was able to survive it just enough, and then my army started the decline, and then there was no way it was going to happen again after that.
Right.
Now, with that being said, probably one of the nicest human beings I have ever met in this game. We literally probably sat around and talked for about maybe 20 minutes, almost a half hour. And he was so nice. He was talking about how great my army looked, and he thought that the way it played was so cool that he was interested in trying to play around with it himself to see if it's something he would like to do. Just a class act, man.
Awesome. You love to see the guys up at the top be like that.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I mean that's you have your Nates, you have your Bills, Roger. Well, Roger.
Yeah.
You, Roger.
We all love you, buddy. It's okay.
No, which by the way, I'm just teasing. Roger did lend me a carrying case to actually get to LVO, and if he didn't, I don't know how I would have got the army there and back. I probably would have had to ship it.
I was going to say, you better apologize to that man very quickly, because...
No. If I said that Roger was a polite individual and loved everybody, he would yell at me himself. So
yeah, that's fair.
All right, on to round 4.
Round 4, morning of day 2. I fought against Nick and his Ogre Maw tribe. So, Ogre Maw tribes, again, very similar list, except for where Russ was using Icefall Yetis. Nick was using, I forget what the rider's Mournfang Cav.
Oh, yeah.
As his battle line. So, very similar. Having had a night to think about where I went wrong in my last battle, I took this game kind of handedly, thankfully. My opponent uh, tried to rush me turn one after giving him the turn, got himself to within danger close of pretty well everything I wanted him to be within, and I was able to just pick off pieces one by one while being able to pin the pieces I didn't want to come and fight me a second time,
Yeah.
essentially. So this was a game that I reminded myself I do know how to play Warhammer. I can actually set things up for, you know, okay, protect yourself from getting a double turn, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and set yourself up. So
I'm glad to see you were able to get yourself snapped kind of back into things
yeah,
mentally, um, and then you did end up winning that one, right?
yes, yeah, I ended up
Okay.
winning that one.
All right. So my next uh, opponent was for round four. His name was Joel. He brought Gloomspite Gits, which I was never so happy to see Gloomspite Gits.
Yeah.
um, and he himself said that he was there to have fun more than to win. Um, Boy, his list was a hodgepodge of just interestingness.
Yeah.
So he let me go. I'm gonna go down this one just straight down here. So we had the break a boss on Meyer Brute Trogoth as an ally, I believe. Yeah, that was the ally.
Yeah.
Then we had the Dankhold Trog boss as the general. Um, then we had Molog and the um, Underworld's warband.
Oh, there we go.
We had Scragot the Loon King. We also had Rippa Snarlfang from the Underworld's warband. Then we had two 3-man units of Rockgut Troggoths, a unit of Fellwather Troggoths, um, 24 Squig Herd, a Mangler
Okay.
Squig, and then of course he had the Scrap Scuttle Endless Spell. So
Uh,
I thanks to Brad, I kind of knew what everything did.
good. Good.
Um, but I also knew that Loon boss or the Loon King needed to go.
Yeah.
So that was kind
Yeah.
of my main focus there. Um, and so once I kind of got rid of that, I was like, okay, I think this game is kind of in the bag. And then that thought was immediately ripped away from me
Oh no.
because he put the Mangler Squig out front. And
Mhm.
right in the objective, right where I needed to go. I'm like, awesome. I'll be able to just pile in, get more bodies on there than he has, take it out, take some lumps, move on. Because again, they're not necessarily known for their
Their
they're known
defense.
right. They're
Yeah.
known for their offense, not necessarily
Yeah.
defense. So I decided to go with Bring It Down, which was the only battle tactic that I failed. Whenever I charged in two Fulminators, my Stormcall Chariot, and a unit of 10 Vindictors.
Oh boy.
So, whenever I was watching the game, the infamous game where a unit of 4 Fulminators did 40 some damage in one turn, I scoffed at that and said, I see your 40 and raise you 0. So,
Yeah.
again, the Fulminators continued to do nothing. I wanted them to go, so I put the all out attack on them.
Mhm.
So they did nothing. I charged with the chariot, and I was able to do like 4 mortal wounds. And then after that, it did nothing. And then I attacked with my Vindicators, which also did nothing.
I don't. You are just a mathematical anomaly, and it will never, never cease to amaze me.
Um, yeah, like I said, I mean, some people bitch about their dice rolls, and it's obnoxious. I'm sure I annoy some people bringing up dice rolls, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, if I can put 700 points of miniatures into 700 points of offense into a Mangler Squig and not take it down, I don't know where else to go with that. I guess it's a tactical error on my fault for rolling a bunch of ones. That's
You just stop doing that. You will
um,
have better games, I promise you.
now again. With that being said, I cannot complain about my dice rolls because outside of that conflict,
Yeah.
it was not his game. Like
Okay.
it was literally once we got past the Mangler Squig and I got my long shots. I got my long shots in a position where I was able to basically see everything. I mean,
Oh,
I went Molog, gone. The Dankhold Trogoth, gone.
okay.
It was just pop, 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 and everything. I think by round 3, I think I owned the table.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Um,
wrong with that.
but thankfully, I said I felt a little bad for my opponent because Joel was just such a great guy, so awesome.
Mhm.
We had such a good fight, but he was taking everything in stride. He was still cracking up from the mangler
Good.
from the
Good.
mangler situation, and he was like, "Look, that's not what I came here for." Yeah, so
Right.
he had a good time, and I had a good time, and I ended up pulling that one out.
Good. Awesome.
So what about your final? Let's see. What about your final match?
My final match was against Charles and his Seraphon, which anyone who's been watching this for any length of time, if I mention Seraphon at a competitive event, it means I lose. Somehow, we kept that same streak going. Good old Lord Croak. They were under Constellation, so -1 to wound, which you don't realize how much that hurts you until you're sitting
Oh,
there trying to pound into somebody with
yeah,
2 damage weapons and going, wait a second, my sharks are only doing 1 no matter what I do.
yeah.
Just, and between that and the blanket, just mortal wounds all over the place, just slowly whittling me down, it was a game that I felt I could win. I fought very, very hard with it. Ended up, what was it, on turn 4? I had my turtle, the Eidolon, and my shark still alive. So my hammers were still there.
Wow.
Chuck them into my opponent as hard as I can. Croak and the casting force is still alive at the end of it, as well as a singular Bastillodon. He's able to pump a bunch of mortal wounds into me because obviously I had to dive in at him. So Croak casts his spell 3 times. It does mortal wounds to everything within 18. Bastillodon cleans up basically everything else, and going into 5, he ends up tabling me. So I think I didn't lose that game by too terribly much. Honestly, had I been able to take Croak down with, sadly, what was a failed charge. It was a long charge I needed to get to Croak, but I had to give the attempt for it.
Yeah.
Had
Yeah.
I gotten there, ooh, I can only imagine how good that would have felt. But
Yeah. What was the? Do you remember the score? Was it close?
I would need to actually look up the score. It ended up being a lot closer than it should have been, even with me being tabled at the end
Okay.
of the game. I'm going to say it was within 4 or 5 points. So with me not scoring my battle tactic and not even scoring at all on turn 5, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a hell of an army, man. It's
Yeah,
like
it is. It is.
I I feel like they probably took the core winning material of like 5 other armies and just shoveled it into that one book.
Right. You're right.
They
It's not
definitely could have
unbeatable
spread the love
because the
around.
points on a lot of things are higher, so that helps. But they definitely have the point that what the little sprinkle of magic I brought in the list that
Yeah.
got shut down completely.
Yeah.
And then whenever I'm hitting with my high damage weapons and thinking I'm going to do something, I can't.
Yeah.
So
Um so my fifth round was against Ryan
mhm,
from the tough crowd.
mhm.
I believe that's is that their
Yeah,
little yeah, the tough
yeah,
crowd.
yep.
Another like this is the other thing like man, I've you go to these events and you expect to meet good people, and then of
Yeah.
course you're always going to have the one or two games where you're like, yeah,
Hmm.
we're I'm a little bit oil, you're a little bit water. Let's finish this game and move on.
Hmm.
This is literally the first tournament where every single person I fought against was just top notch, top shelf human being, and
Awesome.
Ryan continued this trend. Like I could tell that we'll get into it here. So he brought Beast Claw, and he brought Yetis too. I was so happy to see Yetis on the table.
Awesome.
Um, I keep telling anytime anyone has Beast Claw and they don't have Yetis, I tell them they need to add Yetis. Uh,
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I think they're competitive. Of course, now after seeing them, I think they're a little more competitive than people give
Yeah.
them credit. I think they
Mhm.
just don't want to deal with the resin. Um,
Yeah, this the sculpts could use an update. Whenever I was talking with Russ, my round one opponent, I went, "Oh, so where are these sculpts from?" He's like, "No, that's the GW sculpt. That's how she looks." Like, oh,
they're embarrassing.
yeah,
But yeah, so he kind of went with. Let me see what we got here. We had Huskar on Stonehorn, Huskar on Thundertusk, Frostlord on Stonehorn, and Frostlord on Stonehorn, and then two Mornfang packs and three Yetis. So um, I knew they can move fast, and I knew they could do. I knew if they could touch me, they could hurt me. They could hurt me
yeah,
bad, Cole.
yeah, they
So
do.
I was trying to measure everything out, and I was giving everything about 25 to 28 inches. Not enough.
Mm-mm.
Not enough as it goes. So um, once again, I accidentally stuck my fulminators out too far. That one's on me.
Mm.
So
Okay.
he was able to. Um, well, we're late enough in the episode here. He butt fucked them into oblivion.
Oh boy.
Then he got two more of the big boys into my center line, destroying a unit of Vindictors and destroying Bastion. So here I am. I have long strikes, one unit of 10 Vindictors, and my chariot. And then, of course, my Relictor and um, uh, Castellan. So I'm like, okay, that's game over. We had a good run. I guess we'll go 2 and 3. We didn't go anywhere from here. Like we stayed
Right.
even. That's good enough, I guess.
Yeah.
But we'd only been playing for a couple minutes, and I wasn't tabled, and so I decided that I was going to switch into narrative mode, where I was going to play like a Stormcast and never give up.
Hmm.
So because I was sitting there just, oh man, I felt a little bad because I was just sitting there staring at the table. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I said, okay, come on, get over the pity party. Let's get playing. Let's just have some fun. Get this guy a win, and we'll move on.
Right.
But so I decided, I'm like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick these targets. We're gonna go boom, boom, boom. We're gonna do one at a time. And um, thankfully, long strikes once again showed up to play. We killed off the. We were able to kill off one of them in the hero round, her hero phase shooting, just straight up. And so then for the actual shooting, I was able to shoot the one that had Metal Cruncher on it, and I got that mostly taken care of. It left enough room, or no, I'm sorry, it was the other way around. I killed Metal Cruncher first, and then I shot on the other one that killed my Vindictors. I
Okay.
had gotten my other Vindictors to wheel around to charge the Metal Cruncher, but since he was gone, I had to do the long bomb into the others. They were able to do enough in there to take him out too.
So down two stone horns in a single turn.
Right.
It's a pretty good comeback.
Right. So now both of us are sitting there chewing our fingernails down to nubs.
Wonderful.
And like both of us are having just palpitations over where is this round going to go now. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is. Everyone says about how their long strikes always get killed off. My
Hmm.
long strikes have yet to be killed off. I don't.
Nothing wrong with that. I
I mean,
mean,
I
you
just
don't roll good enough with them to make people think they're a target,
right,
so it's
right.
okay.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I just basically whenever I sit down, whenever I see another player, I just assume that player's better than me. And if they're having a problem that I'm not having, then I think something's wrong. Like the equation isn't right. It's not that I'm doing something good or I'm an idiot savant in just keeping long strikes alive,
Right.
uh, but yeah, I was able to basically use those to just shoot everything I could, and um, finally we were also getting teleports. We're getting teleports going, and we were getting
Good.
them where I needed them. Not at the beginning of the game, still failed two in a row, but when it really counted, like so. Do you remember the object or the game? Because I remember there was.
Oh, it's the one with the three objectives, and you have three predators as well that need to
Yeah,
kill predators.
yeah.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I chose long strikes as my predators, and I killed all his
Boy,
predators with my predators.
that may have helped you out a little
A
bit this
little
game.
bit. But so I was able to teleport the long strikes to the other side of the table where since he had advanced so far, get to the other side and try and clear out some stuff I couldn't get to otherwise. And I actually ended up taking it round five by teleporting my Lord Relictor.
There we go. Lord Relictor saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just peace out
And
and
I
go
felt
over this objective."
I felt so bad because Ryan was just, I could see him just kicking himself, and I felt so bad because it was the back, it was his side of the board with the objective, and he had
Mhm.
just moved off of it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, teleport, boom, right on top. I grabbed it. And I think that might have been round four. But
Okay.
again, we're talking like this is where, we're each getting points, but he's getting a little bit more each time. And then all of a sudden, round three happens where I'm getting a little bit more. I'm getting a little bit more. Oh no.
Right. Yeah.
And so I ended up winning that one, um, making me achieve my goal of 3-2.
Congratulations. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah. Now, what was really funny was and again, this is more for the audience instead of for you, Cole, but
Okay.
because you were there.
Oh, really?
So the next goal I basically had. So the goal for this one was 3-2. I think I said that last time. The next goal I kind of had placed in my head for me was to reach, to be above the fold. So to be above 500, and so I'm waiting to see for the results for everything. And we went and got dinner, and we came back,
Mhm.
and they finally posted, and I was like, okay. So I checked at the tournament that there was 150 people there.
Right. On day two.
Right. And I'm like, okay, so all I need is 75th place. 75th place, and I'll be happy. And so the placings are finally listed 76. And I'm like, oh, come on. But then I remembered that there was a bunch of people that dropped that day. So I looked at the rankings that had the full list, and it was 177 people, meaning I got over the halfway mark.
There you go.
So that's actually I think it was like 40 some percentile. So
Awesome.
I guess my next goal is probably to do 30 percentile. I mean, that sounds a little Icarus to me, but
I mean, hey, why not? Top of the 3-2 bracket at least, and
yeah,
then we'll start working into the 4-1s. I need to get back to there, so that's my big goal
yeah.
right now. So,
Well, so that kind of leads me to where I wanted to kind of touch on next. Going into it, what do you like reevaluating your list? What do you think of it now, and what changes where do you think you're going to do?
I don't know if it was the
And let's
list to
let's
start
also
with.
let's push off your new battle tome. Let's just say the battle tome
Right.
you have now is what's staying forever.
If that were to be staying forever, yes. Okay. So I don't know how much it would have changed the list. I think a lot of it was me. I didn't have anywhere near as many games as I should have had with that list. Um, Definitely like game one, I definitely noted there was a movement error on my part, which gave Russ this huge opening to come and wreck my day, which smartly he took advantage of. Um, Game 2 against the Dragons, there's a possibility I could have even the score by 1 or 2 points. I don't know if I could have won that game, having been tabled so early. It felt like
Yeah.
just I think whenever round 5 came, the turn I got tabled, I had a singular eel and I want to say 10 Reavers or so still alive. So really nothing to do anything against 4 dragons. But I think I could have eked myself out a few more points in there. Um, and that game against the Seraphon, I think, again, I might have been able to fix some things with positioning things more correctly. So more of just needing to learn, and not all your eel army, to be fair.
Yeah.
Not having fly all the time, not having a 14-inch move all the time. So a lot of it is me, I want to say. I could have done more to help myself as far as positioning is concerned. Because in my mind, Warhammer at the end of the day is mostly a positioning game. We have to have combat so we can have a push on that positioning.
Yeah.
But that's where I need to work on my game is positioning with this army. That being said, I feel like another monster would help with points, just scoring and things like that. If I knew this book would never change, I would have gotten a second turtle in the list by dropping my sharks and Morsar Guard, putting a singular turtle and a unit of Aether Wings back in the list.
Damn
Gone. I love my Aetherfish. They're great. They're perfect. But then I would have gone to a 3-drop army with the beginning of the game. Turtles both could have moved D6 inches. And boy, those turtles hurt a lot of people. And they give a +1 to hit for all the Reavers, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Between that and +1 armor save for all the Reavers.
Just need to figure out how to get a Lotan in there. You'll be all set.
Yeah, there we go. Just need Lotan. I mean, pretty easy. I think you just drop the Aetherfish and you just throw Lotan in, and there you go.
For me, I think my list was pretty good. I don't know if I see. Here's the problem: it's like my fulminators did nothing all tournament. I charged them in every game as much as I could. They just did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always all out attack as much as I can, doing this, doing that, just trying to get as many dice in there, and just nothing. But again, I don't know what like. You again going back to dice. You don't want to go, man, I always roll poorly. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know what to do.
I'll be honest, you play too much of an elite army for the way you roll dice. What you need to do is run my unit of 30 Reavers and get to throw 90 dice at a shot. That should help you out a little bit. They are 115 a piece right now.
So see if I took 20, I could ally them in.
30. Well, you can take all 30 and ally them in. It's
well, it wouldn't count as battle line for me. So
okay, fair enough.
So you got to remember there's rules. That's
I guess.
But yeah, so in all honesty, I really like the list. I think I'm in the same boat as you, where I just need to play more. I need to get more games in, and I need to get to the point where I stop worrying about winning each individual game and focus more on how does this battle plan work? How does this mission work? What's the ins and outs? What's the smart stuff that people overlook? But with that being said, the only change I would make, which I really don't want to do, right now I have my Castellan as a caster, and he's my general, and so I give him Master Magic, because again, his spell is the Thundershock ability, which goes off on a 6. So that once per game or once per turn reroll, along with the once per turn reroll of Unbind, is pretty helpful.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to just keep rolling one after one after one after one for Translocate, I feel like I need to make the Lord Relictor the general and make him high priest so I can re-roll prayer rolls of 1, which sounds really dumb, but
Yeah.
I literally lost multiple games because I didn't get translocate off when I needed to get it off. Um,
Just
with that,
stop rolling ones. Just
eh,
stop doing it.
listen, I bought the dice and I bought every side of those dice. That's so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so
use.
you use the rest of them. Use the rest of them.
Well, I don't want to make anyone feel bad. That's
Uh,
uh, so yeah. I mean, I really don't like the idea of going from an 8 wound hero that has the two different methodologies of giving +1 save, making that my general, to making a 6 wound character my general who the only thing he has mirror shield. Don't shoot him outside of 9.
yep. Yep.
that's not that's not all that great. I don't really like the idea of just giving up Slay the Warlord so easily.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll see. I'm gonna try the switch. I'm gonna see how it works out.
All right. Yeah, we'll test a couple games with it. See what you think.
Yeah. So LVO as a whole, though. So I kind of wanted to talk about the finals.
Sure.
First off, it was great to see Soulblight make its way up to the finals. Like,
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, that was
I know
really
you
cool.
were very excited for that list too.
Yeah, that's a really cool list. It's very close to the list I was already kind of working with. Um, so I'm definitely going to be bringing the giant as an
Yeah,
ally. That's a given.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Um, Now, with that being said,
Hmm.
I don't know if that winning list is good for the game. Did you
Why is that?
watch?
How so?
Did you watch the match?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch the match. No.
So, little spoilers to you, and spoilers to anyone still
Hmm.
watching here. Um, now, this is this is me incredibly punching up.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, I apologize. I don't remember the guy's name that won. Um, but he is an incredible player, and he has proven it time after time. During You can actually watch the full game on Honest War Gamers YouTube channel, probably his Twitch as well. Um, and they actually go over his stats where he, I think it was 3 or 4 tournaments, he went either 5-0 or 4-1. So like
Yeah.
with all these different lists, so he is
Right.
a excellent top shelf player. So what I'm
Yep.
about to say is not a slight to him in any way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
But there was no skill required to run that list.
Okay.
Did you see the list?
I am looking at it right now.
Yes. So four
So we got.
dragons,
Yep.
4 fulminators,
Hmm.
and essentially a giant block of crossbowmen, along with
Yep.
the what's his face to make them better. The
For your
crossbowmen.
guild general.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's positioning involved with this. You can definitely
Yeah,
overextend with one of your two hammers there.
that's true. But at the same time, if there's nothing left to swing back, you can overextend as far as you friggin' want.
Fair enough.
I mean, it really was. He put fulminators out as far as he could, charged in, got rid of the giant. Then he took his crossbowman, shot into a giant block of zombies, took half of it out. Shot with the dragons, didn't even charge with them turn 1, took the rest of the zombies out. Like,
Hmm.
it was just, the damage was so high, and you
Hmm.
had the mobility and you had the utility and you had the defense, that it was like, meh, what do I have to care about? I just move forward and I just pick stuff I don't want on the table anymore. Um, and if we're going to get to that point, why are we playing? I mean, if we all just took this list, we would have the most miserable time, and it would basically be whoever goes first or whoever rolls the highest.
I suppose, yeah. It's a difficult list to beat. Now, let me ask you this. If we remove the Stormdrake Guard from this list, do you think this list gets beatable if we turn that into something else?
Yes, I definitely do because, like I said, at that point, it's still a hard list, and it is still, again, I've since Cities came out, I thought the shooting was too strong in that book. Um, Again, like the crossbowmen are a little much. The not the pistoliers. I know there's ones that just have
Hand handgunners. Is
yeah
that who you're thinking
the
of?
ones
Yeah.
that have that essentially have Overwatch before we had Unleash Hell.
Right.
That was like just so strong, and you could take them in such high numbers. Um, it's yeah, I mean it's almost like oh yeah, those rules we forgot about those, but no one's playing that army. What are you talking about? um, there's definitely I definitely think the future of Age of Sigmar rests in the hands of where we go from here.
Okay.
Because again, I don't trust GW to go. Okay, look, dragons were a mistake. We're redoing them.
No, I agree. Whatever your meta is doing with dragons, expect to see them. I don't think they're going to get touched for probably until winter, my guess.
And like I said, I'm not too worried about them in others because again, like I said, there's two times where dragons are scary.
Mhm.
First is when it's a full dragon list,
Yeah.
and two is whenever you can take them in a block of four minimum.
Yeah, a two-man crew of dragons doesn't scare me.
Right, that's fine
Four
because you can
force does.
yes, especially with that go first. If they go first
Mhm.
with the charge with lances, with the mortals
Right.
attacking, with the double move, it's all too much. It's too much on one war scroll. Uh, I I don't know. I mean, like I don't know what you put them at. Like I'd like to.
Right. The issue is that if you keep just cranking up the points on them, or you change the war scroll just small ways, they quickly become something no one will take.
Right, and
Which is
that's
not what I want. I
right.
want to see these awesome models on the table.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I would like too. Is I would like to see like a list. Oh, did you bring fulminators? Did you bring drakes?
Right.
Okay, like that's kind of what I want to see. I don't want to see a full table of these stupid things. Like they go from cool to, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, there was I forget who it was that posted a picture of themselves flicking off the drakes.
Joe Pagano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think he has many photos of himself flipping off dragons from that weekend. I think it
uh,
became a thing on Twitter for a little while as well.
yeah.
So,
So like I said, I mean, it was like they really jumped the shark on this one. Um, sorry.
geez, hitting
uh,
close to home over here.
yeah, but like they really overdid it on this one, and it's not even necessarily because of one war scroll. It's it's essentially the bridge that they have built of this power where like I can't think of a list that can stop the list that came in first. Um,
It'd be a hell of a challenge, that's for certain.
Whereas previously, like again, going with a list that like say Bill Souza would bring, I look at that list and I go, "What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. The whole internet looks at Bill's list and goes, "That didn't 5-0. What are you nuts?"
What are you paying your opponents? Is that?"
Yeah.
um, like that's kind of what I want to see from our top players. I'd rather
Yeah.
see them come up with these lists that just look dumb and in the right hands are lethal. I'd like to
Right.
see the game go in a way that encourages and rewards intelligence and smart generalship, as opposed to look what I put together.
I hear what you're saying.
I,
Yeah.
Again, like I look at that list and I go, I don't see one person that I couldn't have beaten that I played if I had that list. And again,
Right.
we
I'm
can't go
trying
back
to
and
figure
play.
out. Right. Yeah. Trying to be your devil's advocate here. I mean, I feel like the list is beatable. Easily? No, not at all.
And again, I think if you were to play 100 games with it, I think you're probably going to win 80 to
More than you
90 of
lose.
those games.
Yeah, at least 75. I'll give you. Your three quarter. The problem I have while I'm looking at this list is if you aren't smart about your positioning at some point, you could very easily get outscored, depending on the missions we're playing.
Yeah,
A lot of the missions that we played at LVO were running only three objectives on the table at one
that's
time.
true.
If we ran more missions with more objectives on the table, this list doesn't get helped by that. That is for certain.
Well, it also doesn't help whenever your opponent has no models turn 3. I mean,
Right, right. I think
um,
there's a way to fight this list where you still have models on turn three, though.
I think we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to TTS a little bit
I'm okay with that. You
because
can take
I
this
think
list on TTS. I will bring something to fight it.
I think where you are right now about this list is where I was prior to LVO about dragons.
Okay. Okay. I'll tell you what, having gotten so close against dragons, even though mathematically I know I shouldn't win that game, I feel like it's possible.
You're telling me there's a chance.
I feel like there's a chance now.
Which good. I mean, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. You
Right.
know, uh,
Yeah.
the last thing I want to see is hard rock paper scissors.
No, I agree.
You know,
I'm okay with there being some rock, paper,
yeah,
scissors to each match where, oh, okay, so instead of this being a 50-50 game, this is a 70-30 game. But there's still a chance that if I outplay them, I'm taking the win.
right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it should be, and that's where the bounds they should try. But like, boy, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this, because I didn't. Did you
hmm
see either of the actual big named dragons?
Now that you say it, I can't say I saw them in a list anywhere. I can't even think of seeing the model all weekend.
Yeah, I don't think I saw either, and I don't think I heard anyone talking about them. Which again is a crying out shame. But at the same point, at 600 points,
Yeah, that it is.
you're.
That it is. You're
I feel like whenever they came up with those points, they were uh, putting some sort of foreign substance in their body because there's clearly no way clear minds came up with that idea.
yeah, I feel like they need to be lowered some. But yeah, whenever you're getting up to god level points, I think they
God level
could
rules,
do a little bit more. Yep.
especially considering I don't think they have a word save.
I don't believe so. They might have a anti magic save, but I
Which
don't
I'm
believe that
perfectly
works.
fine with. I mean,
Right. Yes. Yeah. At
I
that point
think we should
level,
have
sure.
more. I think we should see more individual heroes with magic
On a
saves.
5 up, I ignore
Yeah.
your spell. Yeah.
You know, hey, I have a name for a reason. I wasn't just picked off by a random arcane bolt. Like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So let's. I think we're kind of. I think we covered all our bases here.
Mhm.
What do
Yeah,
you
we did.
think the dragons should be pointed? Because I don't think there's any problem with their war scrolls. I think the melee one's a little. I was gonna say boring, but that's not the right word. It's. I think it's a little presumptuous
Okay.
with it getting buffs based on what type of unit it kills.
Right.
I went, oh really?
Yeah. Oh, so you're going to kill that. Gotcha. Let's see. I'm just pulling up I can't even pronounce this. The one
The caster or
for
the melee?
the caster, the 600-point caster
Ah,
here.
man, that's the one I like too, man.
Yeah, I think
I
that
would
that's
love
the
to have
better of
one
the
of
two
those.
models. Yep. I'm just trying to see. And
Let's
we've got -1 to hit. We have the tail. Okay. Yeah, we've got some bonuses to casting, which is awesome.
two spells.
It should also, since we are paying 600, say to dispel as well. I think is what I would want it to say at 600
Well, I'm
points.
saying let's leave the war scroll alone.
Okay.
Would you
Uh,
take this at 500 points?
I think there is a possibility. Stormcast, it's a difficult place to be at
Yeah.
500 points. Um, yeah, there's a possibility that I would do that just because of being able to put the subtracting to hits as a cast all over the place so that you can help defend yourself. It is a very strong spell. Getting +3 to cast that is pretty big. Um, but like you said earlier, we don't have anything for whenever mortal wounds come in at you. And
Right.
having looked over this, we don't have anything for if a spell affects you either.
Right.
So
And for 18 wounds, 18 wounds does not go very far without a ward save this day and age.
yeah, yeah, there's a reason that we are not too afraid of 2 dragons compared to 4.
So
So
I'll say okay. So if you think 500 is kind of getting close, I
yeah,
think 450 is too low.
agreed, agreed.
So what do you think about 480?
Trying to think what else we have hanging around 480. I mean, we're kind of chilling around Gotrek levels here now.
Which again, I would probably still rather take Gotrek.
You're probably right.
But again, I mean, now we're around the same point level of a Great Unclean One, which I would
Okay,
say.
okay. I'd say this is more on par with a Great Unclean One.
Let me
Yeah.
take a look. Let me see because I have that right here. So yeah, Great Unclean One is 495. So I
Okay.
think 480's not. I say
Yeah.
bring the Great Unclean One down to 480.
There we go.
And then real quick, we'll do Karazai right real quick here.
Sure.
Um, so we got the Blazing Tempest again, the Annihilating Jaws, 6 attacks with 3 damage apiece. Ren 3, 4 Ruinous Claws at Ren 2 for 2. Um,
Yep.
got the tail for 2 damage a pop with starting at what is that? Or is the Clamorous Tail just number of models? Yeah.
It's number models for the 3. Yeah.
And then you have the buff. So I do think this is stronger than Grandis.
I agree, especially on the base. -1 to be hit in melee on a unit that wants to be in melee is a lot better than -1 to hit on a caster.
Well, this is also subtract 1 from attack characteristic.
Ah, oh, that's pretty big actually, because that's how you get rid of this guy is just throw a bunch of garbage attacks at him and take him down.
Yeah.
So
I So we'll go back. 500. What would you think of that?
500, it's close, but I think I'd want this closer to the 520 range.
That's kind of where I was going as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think again, I don't think I'd have room for him at 520 in my list, but I don't think I would be upset seeing him across the board at 520.
No, no, I'd say, yep, he's going to pick up at least one. If you're smart, you'll pick up 2 units easily with him.
Right. Right. So, although, like I said, I'd still rather take the utility of Grandis at the lower point range because I think I could find 420 in, or 480. I think I might have to get rid of if I kept Bastion at home,
Hmm.
maybe traded the castle in for Knight and Cantor or something, and then I think that would be
Getting close there, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd build yourself with a good casting base and find the buffs you need. Or that kind of opens up endless spells to a Stormcast army that never really thinks about endless spells right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, man, if I could get Grandis down there with an endless life storm,
Cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
man, now that's a
I mean,
fun list. That's a fun list. If you think
there we
about
go.
Grandis,
Yep.
with an endless life swarm
Okay.
and um, what's her face, the winged lady.
Oh, Yandrasta.
Yeah, where you're
So we become a true grinding army as we're
yeah
going to keep adding models and wounds back.
yeah.
Yeah, I see nothing wrong with that. You
All
can
right.
do that. Cast Azerite Halo onto a unit so we're hitting you with mortals on our saves. Hey, we're going to be here for a long time.
I
Welcome to the
hope you
defense
brought a
game.
drink.
Yep. We're playing 5 turns. I promise you that.
All right. Yeah, that's yeah. Because I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him, and I feel bad that
Oh,
we're not seeing
I
him.
agreed. Agreed. Awesome models. Need to see the table.
All right. So here, wrapping up. Final notes here. Do you have any events coming up? What's your next event?
Next event that I have scheduled is going to be the 2-dayer in Pittsburgh.
When is
I
that's
can't.
mm,
I need to double check
that's a
because
while. That's a couple months away though.
yes, that is a
Yeah.
few months away. I don't have anything close coming up. You, however, I believe have
Yeah.
something coming up.
Yeah. I have a doubles event put on by Martin Orlando, friend of the show. Uh, I do believe he is a member of the Strength Hammer Underground, as well as the Eloy of the Strength Hammer as well. Uh,
There we go.
he's putting on a doubles event called the Crusaders or something like that. I
Okay.
apologize, Martin. It's late. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous because Chuck and I are going a little narrative on it. Um, he's bringing
It'll
a
be fun.
thousand points of KO. I'm bringing 1,000 points of Fire Slayers. This is kind of my. Um, I'm basically being the band that remained playing on the Titanic as it sunk.
There we go.
But I figure if I take the, I'm waiting for the apps to update, either the app on the phone or the War Scroll Builder on the website to reflect the new points, which they still haven't 2 weeks later. But it's GW and it's Dwarden, so what do you expect? I'm trying to basically, both of us, I think, are trying to keep ourselves one drop so we can go first. I can throw up my Rune Smiters on the objectives we want, and then just stay there the whole game. And then
Right.
let if you engage with me, Chuck will shoot the shit out of you. Like it's
Right. You're just going to be the defensive front line, and hopefully he can be the hand that comes down and slaps somebody off of you.
right. Because if I'm not worried about charging, then I can always keep my heroes within the 9, and then they
Right.
always have their 4-up ward.
Nothing wrong with that.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'll report on it next month.
Awesome.
Otherwise, anything else you got?
Not at this time. Nope.
All right,
Nope. I'll
everybody.
see everybody next month.
Yep, we'll see you in a month, and take care.
Bye.